Buddy. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who might not know me or viewing for the first time, my name is Mike, and with my partner Mary McQuain, we host a channel called Mike Metco Meetups, and the purpose of which is to support meetups in whatever fashion we can. Mary supports a Facebook and an Instagram page where it's kind of like just like an information central where anyone can go and find out about meetups or post a question about meetups, or if they have a meetup they'd like to have advertised or supported, we do all that on the channel. In addition to that, we have, before every meetup, I do an interview segment with the organizers of the meetup. Hence, since I have John and Cory joining me tonight to speak to some of the details about the Planes of Profit meetup in Omaha. Also, I attend most of them. I've been to like about 15 or 16 major meetups since 21. I love them. So I'll go there and I'll be the man on the street, and I'll do some interviews, and I will do some garage sales and whatever, and I film the events. And like last year, I had a lot of fun filming the activities on the thrift bus, which they'll get into the details about. Also, I do a live on the grounds of the meetup, which is, I think, my favorite part of my channel, because the idea of the channel is to like show people what a great time these meetups are, and how wonderful it is to like get together and network with people. And for those people who might not be able to make it, to a particular meetup, I have a live stream where I bring the people from their living rooms right into the meetup, and they can maybe ask questions to some of their YouTube influencers or whatever, and just get an idea and kind of get like a little bit of a sense of what it's like to be at a meetup while it's actually happening. Then at the end, after the meetup occurs, I'll do a little wrap up, and we might do a live hangout and speak to the people who are there, and the people who weren't there. Again, giving everyone an opportunity to kind of just, be part of it, virtually, because that's like a lot of what we do in the YouTube spaces. We create an opportunity for people who aren't actually, at the meetup to be there. So, okay, so I'm going to now give my guests an opportunity to kind of introduce themselves, do a little bio, tell us a little or as much as they like about their operation, about their YouTube channels, and we'll go from there. So, John, would you like to start?
Sure. I'm John, Resale Rabbit on YouTube. I've been on YouTube since the before times. There was not a lot of reseller content on YouTube when I started, so I decided I'm going to do that. I've got a 16,000 square foot warehouse here in Green Bay where we do liquidation, we do estate sales, we do auctions. I still go thrifting, garage sales, sell online. I will sell anything and everything, and oftentimes it's weird stuff.
Very true. I'm Cory. On YouTube, we are Grams and Pops Vintage. My wife Teresa and I have a YouTube channel. We're more serial entrepreneurs than anything, but right now we make a living through reselling on eBay, and we sell just about everything. We have 4 eBay stores. A couple of them are niche down, a couple of them are everything stores, and that's kind of how we go throughout our day. We just make a living so we don't have to work for somebody else.
I always like to say that I work 80 hours a week, so I don't need to work 40 hours a week.
Yep.
Right.
That's it.
I'm part-time, and I've worked harder selling on eBay than I've done in my whole career throughout my whole history of my work experience.
Do you find that's because eBay is more work, or do you find that's because you're doing it for yourself?
Well, a little bit of both. I mean, I've always delved right into whatever I'm involved in, and I make the most of it. And I really go all the way, and I really love it. I really do love it, and I love the community. So I get an opportunity to sell stuff and get together with other people, like-minded people, whether it's through the meetups or through just videos, in the chat, whatever. how I kind of got my start. I was sharing with Cory before we recorded that he knew all about me and everything, but I was really, I'm still a nobody. I don't consider myself anything great, but it was funny that just by being proactive in the chats and in the live streams and everything, because so was my community. I found that, I started watching YouTube just as an educational purpose to learn about reselling. And then I found that there was a community surrounding it, and the people were cool, really cool. And
I'll be honest with you, when we heard your name around the community, we've only been on YouTube for about 4 years. We started reselling and started a YouTube channel at the same time, thinking, well, if I can make $5,000 a month on reselling and $5,000 a month on YouTube, then we're back to our salary we want to get. We're fine. And it took us about 3 months to figure out the $5,000 a month on YouTube was that, like, we've got a face for radio. That's not going to happen for us, and we're okay with that. We just had to scale eBay bigger. But we'd heard your name in the community from the very beginning. We heard Mike Medco. And finally, we just had to start asking people, who the hell's Mike? He doesn't have a channel. I can't find him. Who's Mike? And the only thing that kept coming back was he's the most generous guy in reselling. Like, that's what we heard over and over again. So, and then we finally did meet you in Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it works. Well, thank you very much for those praises. I don't think I deserve all of that. But
well, that's not what I tell people. That's just what we heard.
Okay. You're straight, right? So I just want to address the elephant in the room. I mean, originally, this was planning on being, it's definitely male oriented podcast tonight. We were supposed to have,
on my side, I think.
Not that we were supposed to have, but I invited John's wife, Christiana, and Teresa, and Mary, who was always by my side as the co-host. But the girls had obligations, and Mary's a little bit under the weather. So I wanted to say, Mary, hope you're feeling better. But she did submit some questions, which I will get to. And like I said, she is really my right-hand gal. I am like into Instagram and Facebook illiterate. If you ever try to reach us through our pages, you're going to be speaking to Mary, even though she might represent it as being me. But it's Mary, like I said. So I have to really have her do everything when it comes to for the Facebook pages. So a little background, my history with Planes to Profit. I had missed the first one 2 years ago, but I had the opportunity to go last year because now I was the meetup guy, and I'm really going to concentrate on going to pretty much as many of the meetups as I can. And I just loved it. I mean, it was a great venue. It was, Cory and Alicia, the Ink Picker, were the hosts last year. John was in attendance, so I got to meet him for the first time there. And what I loved about it was that, Cory had particularly limited the attendance to like 50, 60 people. So it was like an intimate kind of meetup. So it's every meetup's got a little bit of a different flavor and a little bit of a different kind of like feel to it and different purpose. And what I liked about the Planes to Profit was that, at the end of the 2 days, you came away knowing all 50 of those people who were in attendance. We all went to dinner together. We all squeezed into that. We had 50 people in a 49-person party bus, so someone was always standing, and it was close and it was tight, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, you ain't lived until you squeeze 50 people, 50 thrifters into a bus and then drive around the town, going to little other thrift stores and everything. So it was great. So I'm not going to really go into any details about it. I don't want to steal their thunder. So I just hand it off to you guys and tell us a little bit about the meetup, how it stands this year, what's involved, some of the activities, some of the details, and I'll chime in as we go along.
Well, Cory, you're the original founder, so if you want to give a rundown about what we're all about.
I give you some history. We, much like Mike, we had bounced around to several of the events. I think we'd gone to 3 or 4 of them over the years since we started. And we loved doing the events. They were some of the funnest times. It was like a mini vacation for resellers. and we got to resell or source or do whatever, but we got to meet other people that were like us. So we wanted to keep doing the events, but there was one thing missing from all the events. It felt like the large events tend to break up into little groups. You almost have to. There's too many people there. If you get 200 people in a room, you only have a finite amount of time. You're not going to get to talk to everybody. So you tend to gravitate to the people most like you, and you break up into your groups and everybody goes their way. And we wanted to see if we could kind of consolidate that into a smaller group so that over the course of a weekend, if you didn't meet someone and have a meaningful talk with every person at that event, it's because you chose not to, not because the opportunity wasn't there. So that's kind of what founded Planes to Profit. That's why it was born in the first place. So we limited the tickets to 40 people that first year, and we filled the tickets. We didn't have any problem filling it. Probably the hardest thing about filling tickets in the end of March in Omaha is it's the end of March in Omaha. And we got crap for that from day one. But 2 years in a row, we sold out. Some amazing people came from Florida and Tennessee and South Carolina and Wyoming. Like, we had people come from all over the place. John was actually a speaker at both of the events. And so, we didn't know what we were doing. We had never put on an event before, but we figured, what would I want out of the event after going to all these other events? And we took all the things we didn't care for at the other events and got rid of them and brought in all the things we did like and just tried to make the perfect event. Newsflash, there is no such thing. The perfect event doesn't exist. Everyone is difficult. Everyone is hard to put together, and everyone you go away from saying, I'll bet we could do this better next year. But that's kind of the essence of Planes to Profit. And as of last year, after our second, we decided we were going to do it a third time. But not all of us felt that same way. And it was kind of at risk of just going away completely for the third year. And I actually had a chance to speak with John at the second year event towards the end. And he said, if it's at risk of going away, let me step in, let me jump into it. And I would like to help. And if I can't help, just let me put it on. Like, he was very open about wanting to keep it going. And that's kind of right in line with what me and Teresa wanted too. We don't want to stop going to events, but it was too much to manage for just us, for sure. And we would like to take a break at some point just to go to an event again. So that's kind of where John and Christiana really picked up the football and said, we got it. So they're on board with us this year, and they're kind of taking the lead on it. And we are super thankful they are, because we're left just over a month away. Like, Teresa and I were talking today, we're just over a month away before Planes to Profit hits, and we hadn't booked our hotel room yet. we're gonna be doing that tonight or tomorrow, but we're excited. We can't wait to go. We already talked to Tara and Josh out of Tennessee. I think they're in Tennessee or South Carolina. They're coming back this year. They were two of our favorite people we met last year, so we're looking forward to it.
How many people you got so far? I know that there are still tickets available.
I'm not sure how many people.
There are still tickets available. We have a pretty big announcement tonight that I think is going to, I guess, give a little sense of urgency. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But there are still tickets available for anybody interested at planestопроfit.com.
Okay. I just want to piggyback over something that Cory had said about how each meetup has a little different focus, a little different intention, and the great thing about the Planes to Profit is the intimacy at it all. Now, I had some of these meetups can be overwhelming. Like, I've gone to the Boss Resale Meetup where they've had, like, in the first couple of years 300 attendees. In the last Nashville meetup.
That gave me the chills. Sorry, 300 people. No,
yeah, I know you don't like people.
I don't people well. Not with 300 of them.
And with Nashville meetup, there were like 200 people and everything. And you're right, you don't have an opportunity to get together and meet everyone now. And what proves that point is that I'm bummed because I had met Cory. Well, I had been in the same proximity to Cory and Teresa twice before I actually got a chance to really extend my hand and say hello to him. I didn't even know at the outset that he was at the Las Vegas sports meetup until I saw that there was a locations shot that John from Flippin' Ain't Easy uses in his intro on Fremont Street. And there Cory and Teresa were like 5 feet from me. And I said, holy crap. I didn't even know that they were there, And then again on the boat at the rally, the resellers rally, again, if you don't know people, if you don't know, you don't know. And you try to get to connect with, as many people as possible. Like I always learn that when you're in a kind of a mixer type of situation, if you don't know someone, you vacillate towards them and you say, hey, how are you? And you get to meet them. But when it's like 200, 300, 100 people, it's like really impossible. Now, at the last Planes to Profit, I certainly got a chance to meet John because I was sitting like, our knees were knocking. We were crossing from the bus the whole time. And not only did I get to meet John and Christiana, which was wonderful, I got a chance really to connect with pretty much everyone at the meetup. Not to knock the other meetups and the other venues. They all have a purpose. They all serve a different.
They're all different.
Yeah, like the Boss and the FlipCon Harry Tornadoes meetups were more educational, and they had panels and all of that, and that's great. And you learn a bunch of stuff. The upcoming reseller rally is just a party. It's a party on the Ohio River, where we do things like the IKEA bag fashion show and the karaoke on the boat and everything, and that's just like a blowout. It's just a lot of fun. So they all have different flavors and different kind of like intentions or whatever, and that's why I really have. I'm a nut. I've been at all of them. Everyone doesn't have the opportunity to do that. I'm fortunate in that. I'm retired and I have the means to go to all these things, and I love them. I don't mind, jumping on a plane and getting a hotel and connecting, with everyone. So again, it's not like I advocate the meetups for all of the reasons that were already mentioned. The camaraderie, the getting out of your own space, and because our livelihood can be a little dry from time to time. You could, you sit in your eBay room and you list and you ship and you pack and everything, but you like to kind of connect with other people, and it's a little difficult. Our peers, our local peers, don't necessarily get us. When friends and family got notion that I was an eBay reseller. One of my cousins actually said to me, "You mean you go to garage sales and then sell that crap on eBay?" I said, "Yeah, that's pretty much it." And they don't really get it, but we get it. So the meetups are an opportunity to really give us a chance to meet with like-minded people and get out of our space and do the networking. It is good for business as well. I can't tell you how many business relationships that I've established going to all the meetups and meeting people and whatever, and it really is a wonderful thing.
One thing that's really nice about the resale related meetups, for those of you who are like me, I'm not good at just walking up to a stranger and talking to them, but there is a built-in icebreaker. You just need to go, "So what do you sell?" And they will talk for hours. It's super easy.
No doubt. Even those people who are like, I'm basically shy. You might not know my on-air persona is bubbly and outward and everything, but basically I'm a shy person. But like John just says, it's a built-in, it's like that built-in first date question. It's an icebreaker, and we're all more than happy to share our experiences and talk with each other, because we don't necessarily have the opportunity back at home to do so. And I think that if you're the type of person who goes through the effort to resell, online, because it's not an easy business. It's not easy. You really have to have a passion for it. You have to love it. I don't really know anybody who sells, online, who isn't really totally passionate about doing it. You know what I mean? And so these meetups give us an opportunity to spread our wings and commune with each other. I think
it's one of the good things for me, these meetups, especially Planes to Profit. Really, that's kind of where Planes to Profit excels, is being the smaller meetup. I'm not that. I'm much like you, and I've heard other people say it. I've heard Scott Beard or King or Bearded Picker say it. I've heard several people in this community say it, that they're a little bit introverted and they don't just walk up and talk to people
Right.
generally. In a group of now, I will say if I go into the post office and I see somebody dropping off eBay boxes, immediate icebreaker. I'm
Yeah.
going to talk to that person. That's an interesting person. I want to know what he's doing. But at a resale event, you already know everybody there has a similar story, completely different,
Right.
but starts in the same area as yours as far as eBay selling or online selling. And to put 40 of those people in a room where they're, maybe it's selfish that maybe I just wanted to put 40 people in the room so I had friends that couldn't run away until the weekend was over.
It's true.
But it's an amazing event for that reason.
It really is.
You really do get to talk to all 40 of those people. And the first year we met Josh and Tara, the Bama Jaybird, and we left with a lifelong friendship. We still talk to those guys, love those guys.
Yeah.
And then the second year around, we met Josh and Tara. I don't know what their YouTube channel is. They did like 2 videos. They don't do videos anymore, but they resell. Super amazing people. Teresa was just on the phone with Tara for like 2.5 hours tonight.
Yeah.
Like talks to them all the time. That's what we leave from those meetups with every single time.
Yeah.
And it never fails. You leave with some kind of relationship. John and I are doing this event together. We're in a business relationship. That wouldn't have happened without that type of event. It just wouldn't have. At a bigger event, that would have got lost in the shuffle. So that's like, we're really proud of what Planes to Profit became and how well it's a very fulfilling thing to do, I guess.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's everyone that I've gone to, without exception, everyone came away like on a high, really loving it. Typically at the end of an event, like we put together the East Tennessee meetup with the locker room guys, and at the end of the event, you say who would like to come next year if we have it again, and unanimously everyone raises their hand, because it's again, I've never seen anyone not really be thrilled about the event and really happy that it was. It's a great time. Like I said, I really advocate. Again, it's impractical for anyone to go to all of them, but if there's one that comes like close to your neighborhood, maybe you can drive to it, or you have a family member, someone you can stay with. Take the opportunity to attend one of these meetups, or make a meetup of your own. I mean, I'm the meetup guy, so I advocate all the meetups, big or small.
And even I will put that out there. We have had people show up at Planes to Profit that were clinically shy, like could not bring themselves to get up and talk to someone else, like sat at a table by themselves. By the end of the event, they were part of the group. We will come and get you.
Yeah.
If you're shy and you can't approach people, we'll come to you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you will know everybody before you leave. We're going to make sure of it. And that's the great thing about those more intimate events. Like, you don't leave. You can't sit in a corner at Planes to Profit.
No.
The corners are round. We're coming.
It's impossible. Definitely impossible. So tell us a little bit more about what an attendee to the meetup could expect. We could start off with my favorite activity of the meetup, that thrift bus. That's a lot of fun.
Well, we have a fancy party bus that's going to take us all around Omaha to different thrift stores. There's plenty of storage underneath, so as long as we don't buy 100 mystery boxes, we'll be perfectly fine.
Or 17 is limit, I think.
So we haven't actually figured out which thrift stores yet. We have a general idea, but it's going to take us to several thrift stores in the area. That'll be the first day. We'll finish the day just kind of hanging out, sharing war stories, getting to know each other. The second day is going to be really exciting. We've got some speakers lined up that I think everybody's really going to enjoy. And we'll have dinner as well. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. And then even the off-script events. I mean, there's always something going on. Like, I know last year it was like Thursday night. Now, the meetup technically did not start until Friday, right? We had activities scheduled Friday during the day and all day Saturday. But Thursday night, I mean, 40 people accumulated in the lobby, and we were bonding already in a group, and we all went together. And I think we were able to use the correct me if I'm wrong, Cory. We used the shuttle bus, the hotel shuttle bus, to get to where we
took them a few trips, but we did. Yep.
And we went to.
Not far from there is a restaurant called the Mattress Factory in Omaha. It sounds weird, but that's the name of the place. And they got great food.
Yeah.
And on Thursday night, for the people that showed up early, which was a pretty good crowd. I mean, I think we had 25 to 30 people or so. Yeah.
And everybody joins in. It's not like you're gonna be left behind. I mean, you're there, and you whether you're familiar with the meetup structure or whether you're a newcomer, you immediately realize that this is an opportunity to connect with everyone. I mean, at every meetup I've ever gone to, even if there was like a very, very tight schedule, busy schedule all day, you wake up sometimes in the morning and you go garage selling, you meet up with other people and you go garage selling, and then you go through the activities of the event, the panels and the all the activities that are scheduled or whatever, and everyone's like dog tired. You think so you go back to the hotel to like crash. People are in the lobbies till like 2:00 in the morning. We can't get enough. I mean, it's like, we realize that this is a unique opportunity to spend as much time with our peers, with our community as we can. So we take full advantage of it. It's the greatest thing.
We had people running whatnot shows in the lobby last year from the mystery boxes they bought. The lobby, the hotel has fresh cookies all the time. So you just go to the desk, get fresh cookies. I don't know who's baking them back there, but I'm pretty sure we keep them on their toes while we're there. There's a bar there. So it's a great hotel for it.
It is great.
It was a lot of fun.
They actually mailed me some cookies for Christmas, and they were delicious.
That's awesome.
Great hotel. I mean, very accommodating. The entire staff was more than willing to help you out. I mean, I got there early. I generally I kind of like to maximize my meetups. So if a meetup is like, for example, Plains of Profit is Friday and Saturday, that's the entire venue, although it does extend.
That's the official event. Yep.
Yeah, right. It extends out Thursday night and Sunday morning. Like John made a deal with the Hoarder House to he gave the owners $100 to allow people to go back to the Hoarder House, and then about 20 people convened on the Hoarder House on Sunday and got some great buys and everything. So what I like to do is if a meetup, for example, is a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, let's say, I always get there a day early, and I leave a day later. And the reason why I do that is because the day early before it just starts and it gets hectic. Once you're in motion with a meetup, there's always a million things to do. I like to get there early and organize, make a battle plan, set up my room or whatever, and acclimate myself to the environment. And then a day afterwards, rather than jumping right back home, I like to have a day of reflection, and it serves me well because I use the meetups as a sourcing opportunity. I'm very, very serious about it. And I've developed techniques in how to maximize sourcing at meetups. In fact, I did one bottle episode on my channel, how to prepare for a meetup, and I explain my patented suitcase and the suitcase method, where I go with one suitcase,
come back with two
inside another suitcase, and
we did that in Vegas.
And actually,
I've never understood that either, Mike, about reseller events. I've been part of a lot of other industries. We've been in e-commerce. We've been in manufacturing. We ran a metal machinery shop. We've done a lot of different businesses, and we've gone to a lot of different kinds of conferences in other industries. With the exception of the eBay crowd, the reseller crowd, every other conference was like a vacation to get away from what you do.
Right.
Nobody went to a machinery conference and wanted to machine shit. Yeah. It was a vacation, but on resellers, they go on vacation to keep reselling, and they're sourcing while they're there. And I think that speaks volumes about the passion the community has for what they do, because there's not any other industry where I've gone to conferences where that was the case. The last thing I wanted to do at a conference in any other business I was in was go do my job at the conference.
Right.
I would have never done that. But here, it feels right. I think it just speaks about the passion of what they're doing.
You know what it really is we spend all day alone at garage sales and thrift stores. And
Yep.
when we can do it with other resellers who understand the excitement and
It's the greatest.
can share knowledge, it is so much more fun. I used to always going to conferences and events. I would go, 3-4 days early. So I have some me time to explore the city, do some fun stuff. And then the conference would happen and I'd leave and I'd be really bummed out that I'm leaving right away. So now I book my extra days afterwards because I've got a whole bunch of new friends that I want to hang out with.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. And that's like one of my favorite things. I mean, just like John said, just the opportunity to source with new people, who are like, you might like, I had not met Zena and Jessica, but I went out sourcing with them. And you really get to know someone really close when you're sourcing together with them. And we had a blast. We had the greatest time. Plus the opportunity to see how different sectors in the country have different styles of garage sales and different days and different kind of like merchandise and everything. It's very interesting. So what I'll do as part of the service on my channel, I mean, I'm not like a garage sale vlog type of channel. Basically, this is it: interviews, live streams at the event. But what I will do during the event is bring my phone with me and take some film of what what the local flavor of the garage sales are, and everything is different. I tell you, every different area provides a different opportunity for different merchandise and just different ways.
If you come home from one of these events and you take the time to network and talk to people and get to know other resellers, if you leave that event as the same reseller you went to that event as, you've done something wrong. Like just 2 years in a row going and just listening to John speak. That's just one small example. Listening to John speak at the event and the way he does reselling compared to the way we do it. Yeah. Totally different. We never imagined there was that different of a world inside reselling. But everybody we talked to did it a little differently, and we changed our resale. We are much more. We very rarely rely. We still garage sale. We don't go into a thrift store. I just don't, unless it's for fun. We'll date night at a thrift store. I don't mind that, but we don't rely on thrift stores for our business. We much more heavily rely on buying large auction lots, buying collections, things like that. We changed our business in major ways, but a lot of that was due to hearing how other people were doing it and being like, oh, we're just scratching the surface. We didn't understand that. And you don't when you live in your own bubble. So just talking to other people or listening to these other people talk, even if you're not talking. Matter of fact, I recommend sometimes when you're in a room of really smart people, the best thing to do is just maybe be quiet. And you learn a lot at these.
One thing a lot of people always ask me in events like this is, it's why go to the thrift stores or the garage sales with all the people? There's just going to be competition. You won't find as much. You would be shocked at how different people source, how much different stuff. I don't look at clothes. I don't look at books. I just do electronics. And so many other people don't touch electronics. I'll go to a garage sale. I was with Mike and some other people in Las Vegas. There were probably 6 or 7 of us at these garage sales, and each one of us walked away with things that the others never even would have thought about.
Well, the thrift store we went to on the thrift bus, I think you found some pretty expensive electronics at one of them the first year, and Teresa and I walked away with $300 worth of obsolete soap that they don't sell anymore, like discontinued soap. You couldn't be more different as a picker, and we both walked away with money that probably paid for our hotel rooms at the very least from one thrift store. And we're not thrifters, but put us in a room with other resellers, we're going to find something to sell.
That is definitely a big misconception about what John had addressed the topic of why would you go out with your competition? It's not competition. Now, I was in my former life, I was an electrician, and I was on the board of directors of an electricians organization, where the purpose was to kind of support each other, and it did to some degree. But by the same token, no one's letting you get get close to their customers or sharing the ideas that they have. And administratively, we kind of like try to create an environment in our county to encourage the business, bring the business up as a whole. But individually, it was entirely different. You go to a garage sale with your peers, and it is not competition at all. It's a communicative kind of opportunity where everyone is happy to support each other. I mean, even if you sell the same things as someone else, if you specialize in a certain niche, and someone else knows that they're going to find something, and they're going to give it to you, and they're going to help you out, and just the information, the knowledge base that we get a chance to share during these joint sourcing opportunities is great.
That's one of the things that surprises a lot of people that have asked us, like, how do you get into it? Where do I start? And they always assume getting crap is the hard part. Getting stuff to sell is the hard part. And John can attest to this better than probably anybody I know. Getting stuff is the easiest part of reselling. You will have so much stuff, you'll trip over it for the next 10 years. Yes. We have never suffered from lack of stuff. The abundance in this field is never isolate yourself from a relationship because of a scarcity mindset in this business. There's too much stuff out there, more than all of us together could ever sell.
I have a 16,000 square foot warehouse and I can barely walk in it because I've got so much stuff.
That's what I mean. I see your hauls all the time and I'm like, yeah, getting stuff is not the problem. When you're coming home with a semi and you have a forklift to move stuff, getting stuff isn't the issue. No. John's hauling home trailers and flipping trailers. I mean, stuff is everywhere.
He's buying out Walmarts and Toys R Us stores and everything. Crazy. It's a lot of fun. So what else? Any other particular activities? Let me see. I dragged my notes from last year of the events, and there was a schedule. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention earlier. We're talking about the fact that the meetups, and particularly the small ones like yours, John and Cory, foster that opportunity to get to know each other. And what I really liked about yours was that bingo card feature, where that's a commonly used activity, and I've seen it in a bunch of other meetups, but a lot of them are like treasure hunt kind of things, like going
solo bingos.
Yeah, going to Goodwill and find something with a turkey with a bib on it or whatever, and those are fun as well. But the intent of your bingo card was really specifically geared towards getting to know everyone.
So you have to talk to everyone,
right? The idea was like find someone who sells on Poshmark, or find someone who yada yada yada. So that was a great thing, and that was one of the first things that we started off with right at the registration. The first day, Friday morning, we were given these bingo cards, and there was like a prize associated with whatever. But that wasn't even important. The idea was that you had to now, in the next hour, everyone got a chance to. There were like 35 questions on the card, I think. Yeah. So you got a chance to meet and speak some details about the business model of 35 other resellers. So that was a nice activity. I'm assuming that you're going to have the bingo cards again this year.
Yep, we've got the bingo cards, and we've got a couple more games that we're going to be introducing this year.
Okay, the cool thing is you do the bingo cards on that first day at registration right before getting on the bus. And by the time you're done with your bingo card, you kind of have an idea of, I'm going to try and sit by that guy on the bus.
Yeah.
Like you'll almost kind of make your first few friendships within the first hour of the event, which is, I mean, those turned out better than we could have hoped.
Yeah, no, very well designed meetup overall. I really give you all the kudos about it. It was really, in addition to being such a pleasure and so much fun, things like you just said, Cory, I didn't even realize, behind the scenes, the motivation for doing that, but then it happened. I can attest to it. So the way you had set it up was so that, people really have an opportunity to make it a point to get to know other people and expand their awareness and their horizons about reselling. I mean, all these meetups are all fun and good and they're entertaining, but in addition to the good time, invariably you're gonna come back with so much more information and worthwhile content and different ideas. I mean, everyone is so jacked up after these meetups, in addition to like getting to meet people for the first time and enjoy their company, whatever, and get to meet people you didn't even know, and all of that.
Mike, you're kind of the meetup guy. Like you're the meetup guy on YouTube. You're doing the channel specifically about meetups, and you go to all of them. Do you want to tell everybody what you told me before we started recording? That objectively, this is the best meetup.
This one, yours.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, definitely because like I said, because it really forces you to get to know everyone, and that's really, I think, for me, the best aspect of a meetup, that you're having the opportunity to meet people. Like quickly in my history
Mike didn't really say that behind the scenes, but I'm totally clipping that.
Mike also said he was going to give each of us $20 too. So
I did hear that part.
Oh boy, you guys are good. Well, just quickly, not to get long-winded about it, but my history of meetups was like, I started reselling during the pandemic, and I didn't know if I'd like it or not. I loved it, but I knew nothing about it. I had no experience with online arbitrage or whatever. So I had to like learn in a hurry how to do this thing called, reselling online. So just like they always say, if you want, you can learn brain surgery through a YouTube video, right? So I figured how hard can it be to learn about how to resell on eBay through YouTube videos. So I totally like immersed myself in all this YouTube content initially for the purpose of learning how to pack and how to source and what are the bolos and what's the policies and what's the approaches towards creating a business model and all of that. And it did serve me well. I mean, I've literally consumed thousands of hours of YouTube content through it all. Now, as I was learning to becoming a more well-rounded eBayer by watching YouTube videos, I discovered that, hey, there's a community. There is a community surrounding this. I mean, I thought it was just me in my basement and that was it. Stupid. Like, didn't realize that there's 100,000 other people just like me in other parts of the country experiencing the same considerations and everything. And I started using, in addition to educational content, I started using the YouTube as my community, learning, and that's why I got so well known, I guess, because I was very active in all of the chats and the live streams and everything, and being a member of everyone's channel and everyone got to know me. I loved it. I'm a people person, So just the fact that YouTube can now avail me an opportunity to virtually have friends all over the country, that was great in and of itself. Then the third phase of my YouTube experience was finding out that there were meetups. I didn't know there were meetups. I was watching Katie and Vicky one day, and they says, "Yeah, we're about ready to launch our first Boss Resale meetup." And I said, "What's the meetup?" I had no idea what it was, and I says, "Wait, this is great. I mean, people get together, people travel and meet together." And I had no idea that this was even a thing. So I said, "Let me go and see if this speaks to me," and it did. I mean, I was literally blown away. The first meetup I went to, that was the first Boss meetup, and I remember saying to myself, "This is freaking awesome, man!" And I'm going to commit to going, because I'm the type of person who loves to like travel, but for a purpose. I mean, I've traveled throughout the world. I've had some businesses abroad and whatever, and I did a lecture series, course and everything. So I always have the opportunity to travel. I'm not a traveler to like go and sit on the beach and play golf or play tennis or whatever. I need to like travel and embrace whatever I'm doing at the time. So having these meetups gave me the perfect opportunity to do that. And I had a lot of fun. And I said, from my first meetup, I'm going to go to every possible meetup that I can. And now I was able to like, these friendships that I had made virtually, I now have the opportunity to actually meet these people in person. And it's a really nice, it's a little odd, but a very nice experience to like have knowing like a YouTube personality by watching their videos for for a while, and then finally meeting them and discovering that that's how they are. I've not met one YouTuber who was any way different than how they portray themselves on the on their channels and everything. So that was a great opportunity for me to like really realize that there's a community, go out and embrace the community, meet the community head on, and really enhance my experience. I mean, I loved eBay before I knew there was a community. I loved the community before I realized that there was an actual, face-to-face component to it. And then once I realized the face component to it, I was really in my space, and that's why I decided, because a lot of friends were pushing me to have a channel. I said, nah, there's a million channels around. I don't need, YouTube doesn't need another channel. And a friend had suggested that my passion is meetups, do a YouTube channel on meetups, and then the light bulb went on, and here I am. The rest is history. So I'm really
having
grateful.
that YouTube to go to for as a community to make you feel like it's not such a lonely job sometimes is important in the beginning. Going to a meetup and clicking with someone in a way that when you leave, you have their phone number, and when you run into something or you're feeling things aren't working, having that person you could just hit call and call them, and talk to them on the phone, totally different thing. And that's coming from probably one of the most non-people you'll ever meet. I'm not a people, and I don't like traveling, but it's worth it, and I'll do it every single year I can, because what comes out of it is way better than the uncomfort of going and being with people when you're not a people person. It like the benefits far outweigh the downside every single time.
Absolutely. Cory, you are definitely an enigma to me, because you've always presented yourself as being a non-people person, and you really dislike people. You don't like the crowds and all of that. And I understand that. I get that. And I understand, your motivations for it. But to know you and to like get to meet you and just to be able to work with you side by side, it's kind of contrary to your position of not being a people person. But I guess selectively, it's different. I mean,
it's not so much even selectively with me. It's not that I dislike people. I like people. I'm not a people person because it takes a lot of energy. Like if I have a 30-minute conversation with somebody that's new that I'm not comfortable with, it's very draining. It takes a lot of energy, and I need to recharge and have some non-people time. Like Teresa's my social butterfly. In our relationship, I send her, if I need to recruit somebody or I need her to make a friend for Grams and Pops, like she's my social butterfly. Right. I'm the guy that I'm really good at speaking when I need to speak, and I get along with pretty much anybody. There's very few people I can't get along with, but it's very draining to me until I'm very comfortable with you. When I don't have to watch what I say, that's why we do YouTube. We can edit. If I don't have to watch what I say around you, it's not as taxing. It's not as draining for me. But until I know you well enough to say, whatever I say, he's going to either be okay with or forgive me for, then the conversations are much easier for me. And I think part of that is just growing up in a family that had a little bit of a potty mouth growing up. Like sometimes I curse, and sometimes that offends people. So I'm usually really careful publicly, but it is draining.
Okay. And so anything else? I guess we can start winding down. And my winding down is like it's usually another 15, 20, 30 minutes. So if I announced that we're winding down.
We have an announcement, don't we?
You have an announcement.
We have a speaker that I'm super excited to hear about.
Now, by the way, I'm not looking to, let me interrupt you a second. I'm not looking to curtail you. You guys can go on and on. We could just bullshit like for hours and hours. I don't want it to be that, but I do want to give you guys the opportunity to give the full presentation of the meetup. So if there's anything else specifically in addition to this announcement that I'm curious to hear about, by all means, we can talk the night away if you like. So
we've got two main speakers booked right now. The first one, he's a 7-figure Amazon seller who started from nothing. He was evicted from his apartment, didn't have a job, was in and out of rehab, and he turned all that around to build something way bigger than what I would ever imagine I'll do. So it's gonna be really exciting to hear his insights on how he did it, what he did. But the second speaker I'm really excited about. I literally just got word like an hour before we started talking that he's in. He's a former eBay employee who worked there for a number of years. He just recently left eBay to sell on eBay full time. And he's going to be coming out talking to us at Planes to Profit. I'm really excited to hear what he has to say.
If you can't get value out of an eBay employee, all those questions you always wanted to ask, like I'm looking for the Q&A session for this guy is going to be crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. He did tell me he has an NDA, so he can't do a complete tell-all, but I'm sure he has a lot of insight that would definitely help us all out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. We've had some really interesting speakers there. I mean, we had a lady that ran a real estate company locally. Like most resellers go to estate sales and complain about the prices and find some cool things. But to hear from the estate sale owner's perspective was a really interesting one last year. And that's kind of what we try to do. We try and bring in different stuff that's outside of your current comfort zone so you can see the business from a different direction. I think we've always done pretty good at that. I really enjoy our speakers. They're not there to teach you. They're not trying to sell anything. It's none of that stuff. It's straight up, here's something you might not have thought of. And I love that about it.
Yeah, that meeting of the mind segment was pretty cool. Now, in a meetup that really had very little structure to it, that was the structure part of it. You know, we all convened up on the top floor of the hotel, and we sat down and had a chance to hear a bunch of different people with different points of view. So, board a little structure, just enough to like, so you weren't, like this with your collar. It was very, very comfortable, very organic. Very
if you're bored, it's fine. We bring cookies. It's just a few hours, and we're in and out of there, and then we're back to the bar.
It
Actually,
goes
I
by
think you go to
so
lunch
fast,
after or
though.
supper after that. It goes by so fast.
Yeah, it does. So now you're not you made the teaser, but you're not really announcing actual names. I think I know who the first one is. I won't say it. I'm not so sure about the second one, but in regard to that, it'll be interesting to have someone informally as a former eBay employee talk to us, to the extent that he can, throughout the constraints of his NDA, give us like some information. Like, I was just recently and John was there as well, at the eBay Open last August. And although you had an opportunity to speak to the frontline employees of eBay, which is a big step forward from speaking to them on the customer helpline, it still was.
They're still representing.
Yeah, they're still representative. They can only give you a certain amount of information, and you felt, although it was more valuable than calling up the helpline, if you have an issue, you're right there. But it wasn't. It was really still eBay being eBay. It was like,
Mike, you might have met this guy at eBay Open because he did have a speaking session there.
Okay, all right, that'll make it a little easier for me to figure out. Yeah, we're looking forward to that as well. Any other new activities coming up on the meetup, or just basically, just to follow the format that you've had? Last year I was only there last year, and I guess the year before, where I wasn't in attendance. There's a great format.
I would say if you're there the day early, if you're there on the Thursday, make sure if you see some other resellers milling around in the lobby, grab a hold of them, because we almost assuredly, it's not a formal thing, it's not organized, but if we get a group of resellers there Thursday, we will try to find somewhere in Omaha we can all go. It's just something we do. I'll be there Thursday. I know John will be there Thursday, I'm sure, being as we're organizing, we got to get stuff set up. So for sure, Teresa and I will be there. And if there's people wanting to go have supper that night, everybody eats. We'll try and find a place we can do it together. We've done it for both years so far. That's always a great part of the event, because it's a large group, but it's not the full 40 people either. So it might be 20, 30 people. And we usually find a decent place where everybody can sit together. So.
And we have a Facebook group too, where we'll post if we're doing something like that. And it's a great way during the downtime to meet up with other people in the group and have smaller groups that'll go out and hit some thrift stores or some estate sales or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one of our
well,
second year thrift stores actually came from a small group that broke out and went to a thrift store on their own as a group and told everybody about it when they came back. We were like, that place sounds amazing. And we ended up putting it on the thrift bus schedule for the second year. So yeah, use that Facebook group. That's what it's there for.
yeah, I'll give you a little planes to profit hack. I was there last, like I said, I go a day early, and I'm there early in the day. I mean, I hit town about 10 o'clock on Thursday morning last year, so I was there. I was the first one in the hotel, and I wasn't aware of whether the hotel had a shuttle from the airport to the hotel, so I called them
You
up,
do.
and they do, and they were very nice. I mean, I said, look, I'm a guest. I'll be checking in or whatever. I'm wondering if you have a shuttle bus, and now I'm from New York, and I'm not used to like the Midwest hospitality and all. So this kind of blew me away initially. The girl says, yeah, oh, by the way, yeah, we just had our guy do a drop off, and he's heading back to the hotel. But I'm going to call him right now. I'm going to make him turn around and come and pick you up. So his name was Jack, and I got very amenable and everything, and really friendly guy. So I always picked the Uber drivers and the shuttle bus drivers and the locals, pick their brains about because I don't know anything about the situation and the goings on and whatever. So anyway, long story short, I checked into the hotel, and Jack had told me that the shuttle bus is for any of the guests' use at a first come first served basis. The only constraint is that it's got to, they're not going to take you further than like I think a 3 mile radius. So what I did was I had nothing to do. No one was in the hotel or whatever. I went to a thrift store from the shuttle bus. I said, Jack, tell me whether there's a thrift store and take me there. And then, he says, all right, when you're ready, call up and I'll come pick you up. So I went to a thrift store, and then I went to a grocery store and got some provisions, whatever. I called him back up. He picked me up, and I used that thrift bus. I mean, not the thrift bus, the hotel shuttle bus, for a bunch of non meetup activities, like getting my groceries, and some like auxiliary functions, like going to the thrift store. So that was fun. So
we drove. We're about 3.5 hours from Omaha, so we drive down.
yeah,
But generally, we park in the garage when we get there, and we leave the car there, and we use the shuttle bus for everything. We don't touch the car again almost until we leave. So if you're planning on coming to Plains of Profit, literally, if you can get yourself to the airport, if you're flying in,
you don't need a car.
You don't need a vehicle. You don't need to worry about paying taxis. You don't need an Uber. Once you're at the airport, everything else is kind of taken care of. Everything can be gotten to within just a few mile radius of that hotel. And then we'll venture out of that 3 mile radius with the party bus, obviously. But you can really do the whole event without ever paying for transportation in any way.
Yeah.
My first year there, I flew in. I did not rent a car, and it was no issues at all.
No.
My second year, I did drive in, but just like you said, it was parked the whole time. I didn't need it.
And there are, I would say, almost half the people that attended, probably a little less than half the people that attended drove, and they weren't from a terrible long distance. So there's a lot of people there. And as soon as you get to know them, we had people piling in other people's cars and who's got the biggest van. And so transportation is the least of your worries. If you can make it to Omaha, we got you from there. You're not going to have to pay for transportation while you're in there.
Absolutely. One of the things that I do is I'm an early riser, and I'll go down to the restaurant early, so like Saturday morning and Sunday morning, I'd get there early, and then I just see who I could, connect with, and you get a little, not, I wouldn't even call it being brazen. You just saw people as our community. So I invited myself, to people who had cars to take me to the garage sales, and they're glad to have me. So that's another hack. If it forces that community, it gives you an opportunity to go picking with someone that you might not have ever had the opportunity to go to before, and it creates it forces that connection. So
That event was dangerous for a chubby guy like me. I like breakfast, and I come down early for breakfast.
Yeah,
But I almost always had 2 or 3 breakfasts by the time I was done, because somebody would be there and I'd sit at the table and have breakfast, and then they'd kind of wander out, and a new group of people would come and I'd have breakfast with them, and then they'd wander out. By the time it was done, I didn't need lunch.
Well,
But speaking of lunch, you said a planes to profit hack. I'll give you a planes to profit hack that caught us both years. When we do our registration, it starts at about 10 o'clock, I think, is when our registration, you get your badges, you get it has the number on it for prize drawings and stuff like that. That goes from like 10 to noon, and then we get on the party bus right after that. So there's not a lot of time in between there to get lunch. So that first day of the event, if you're coming down to registration, if you order food and have it delivered in the lobby, you can eat during registration while everybody's kind of milling around networking before you get on the bus. That was the one thing the first year that really caught us. The second year we saw it coming, we were like, hey guys, we got about a 2-hour span, and then we're going to be on a party bus for a few hours. If you want to grab lunch, like, now's the time. Who wants to order? And people just ordered food and had it delivered. So that's the hack I would give for day one. That initial lunch, if you want to eat before the party bus, order it to the lobby.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, see, get the ins and outs. That's the great thing about this little interview segment, where you really kind of, in addition to getting the basic information, you get all the little tricks and tips to really maximize your good time. And a lot of the suggestions and ideas are common to all the different meetups, but some of them are particular to specific meetups like that. That's the hotel shuttle bus. Take advantage of that. They gladly take you around, and generally it's just sitting there for your use.
Yeah, I mean, they're not super busy.
No, the 3 or 4 times that I did use it, like, immediately it was available. One time I had to wait. He was on Jack was delivering someone to the airport.
It's not San Francisco, it's Omaha. That bus will be there for you when you want it. Within a few minutes usually. I think the longest we ever waited was like 15 minutes because he had just left for an airport run. And we had to wait 10, 15 minutes, but it's never a long wait for the shuttle bus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So, and anything else? I want to speak of a few other things. Oh, let me ask Mary's questions, but before we get to that, just want to give the opportunity to address any other details of the meetup and some of the specifics, like how to get tickets and what's involved. Let me just read Mary's questions. Can you introduce yourselves and tell us what you go by on social? We'll do that on the wrap up. You can tell us where to find you. She said, I know we're here to talk about meetups, but I'm always interested in hearing about other business models. What do you sell? How do you sell? Etc. I think you kind of covered that a little bit in the introductory. If you want to embellish that, you can. Oh, how did you both meet? That's a good question. And how was Planes to Profit born? And how did John get involved? So why don't we just address those 3 questions? Those are questions that Mary would like to know. I think we've spoke about the details a little bit.
Go ahead, John.
Well, Cory kind of touched on how Planes to Profit started and how I got involved. We met at Planes to Profit. I was invited to speak the first year, and I got to meet everybody, and it was a lot of fun. But, ultimately, and I've been saying this for years, Planes to Profit is my favorite reseller event. And I've been to a lot of them. I've probably been to about as many as Mike has. Mm-hmm. And so when I heard that it was at risk of not continuing, I knew I had to do something. And so now it's going to keep going, and I don't plan on stopping.
I, for one, am very grateful that you picked up the baton, because Cory and I were speaking after the event, and there was a period where Planes to Profit 3 was not going to be a thing, and I don't know if I really focused in on it, Cory, but I was really disappointed, and I really felt sad. I think I mentioned it to you that it was.
Yeah, well, you could tell when we spoke, that was during that period where it was kind of I'm not sure. Yeah, and that was really weighing on me too. Yeah. Like I didn't like that. Like I didn't like the idea that what it boiled down to is I really wanted to take a year off and just go to the event. Right. I didn't want to organize the event because, believe it or not, for anybody that's organized these, there's a ton of work. Yeah. And it's a ton of pressure, and there's stress, and it's hard work. It's totally worth it.
Yeah.
But it is nice. Like this is the event I like the best out of all of them too. It was designed that way. We took the best of the other events and we got rid of stuff we didn't like. Not that it was bad stuff. It's just we kind of built an event that we thought was perfect for what we wanted.
Personalize it, yeah.
And personalized it kind of to how we wanted the event to run. It is by far my favorite event. And to not be able to attend it as an attendee kind of breaks your heart a little bit as a co-host. So we wanted to do that. But if that meant the event was going away, like that was weighing on me. When I talked to you, it was like, man, we can't let this happen.
Yeah, yeah.
And John was gracious enough to say, you know what, don't let that happen. Like, bring me in. I'm like, okay.
Put me in, coach.
Yep. And I was more than happy to take him up on it. Like, I couldn't be happier that he was willing to step in.
Yeah.
From our end, I would describe planning an event like this very similar to planning a wedding, all the stressors and the prep. But it's worse because people are going to come to your wedding because they like you. We need to convince people to pay to come to our event. And it really is a lot of work. We need to really balance it where it's something that people are going to enjoy. I mean, we're not making any money off of it. We're basically splitting the cost amongst everybody, but we do need to front the cost of, the bus and everything. So we need to make it exciting, fun, valuable enough where people would want to spend their hard-earned eBay money to come see us.
Yeah.
And we're doing it in the worst possible industry to try to do that because resellers are cheap. Yeah. All of us, by nature, we're looking for the deal. We're cheap. And there are events out there where you go and it's not paid. And I understand that. And those are awesome. I love that idea. But there's certain things at our event, like renting a party bus to take us around Omaha, getting that hotel block with the breakfast included that we get for that hotel, doing the paid for dinner at the end that we pay for. Like that's what the money is actually going towards. So we couldn't do the free event. We could. I mean, if we wanted to change the event, we could say, you know what, it's free. If you want to come. And we could certainly grow that to 150, 200 people. Not a problem. The problem is we would lose what the event is. Right. We wouldn't be able to do that small group of people on a party bus who all get to talk to each other and go into thrift stores as a mob of resellers. Like you'd really lose the essence of what makes this event. So that's why it's a paid for event, but that also makes it more difficult. It also makes it more stressful because for the entire year of planning, that stress is on you all the way till the day of. You're like, is anybody going to show up? Yeah. And they are, of course, they're going to show up, but that doesn't take that nagging feeling in the back of your head. Like, man, I hope enough people show up because otherwise somebody's got to foot the bill. Like there's a bill coming one way or the other.
No doubt. When Mary and I had the pleasure and the opportunity of helping the Resale Locker Room organize the East Tennessee Meetup this last year, and it was a free event. And we didn't know what to expect. I mean, we're going to just put out a free event and see what happens. And we had like this whole punch list of things that we might include, might not, lanyards and name tags and different activities. And, it was like obviously cost prohibitive if there was no cost. So I was in charge of soliciting sponsors for the event. So the more sponsors that we got who wanted to contribute to the cause, the more things that we had, the more opportunity that we had to offer other.
Well, I've got an email to send you then. Maybe you can help us. We have sponsorship spots available.
Sure.
You can help us reach out to some of the sponsors if you don't mind, because that'd be, our event. Like the lanyards and stuff, those are like what you pick up at the registration. Those aren't your perks. Those are what you pick up when you register. Last year we gave away iPads and thermal printers, like that's why it's a paid event. There's a different level to it, and that all takes money. And every sponsor is a very important, very big thing for us.
Yeah,
we appreciate on a whole new level.
Right, whether it's a paid event or a free event, those you live and die by the sponsors. I know that Katie and Vicky, you tell me that if they worked at a deficit, for all three of the Boss reseller remixes, and if it was not for the sponsors, helping them along, they would have been out of pocket a lot of money for them.
Oh, absolutely.
So we definitely appreciate our sponsors. And getting back to what you said before about, being glad that John, jumped in and helped. I'm really looking forward to it because John brings an enthusiasm and a fun aspect to everything that he does. And like I said, I really like that man, and we had a great time the 2 times that we had met, and I think he's really going to bring a lot to the. Not that you didn't carry your weight and do a great job, and Alicia also. Last year.
I totally get. If you're watching this on YouTube and you see these 2 squares over here, who would you rather approach? I get it.
The grumpy old man.
This is not a mystery to me, Mike.
So let me see any other questions. So what do meetups mean to you? I think we've been talking about that the entire time. So how can you get tickets, and or if they are sold out, how can you be notified when tickets go on sale next year, and how can we find you? We'll wrap it up with those 2 questions.
So we've got tickets available, planstoprofit.com. I'm sure there will be a link below or above or to one of the sides. Yeah. Somewhere on your screen, there will be a link. Tickets, as of right now, tickets are still available. Once those sell out, they're sold out. So we're curious to see how it goes.
I will say we've sold out for 2 years in a row. We've never had a ticket left over. I don't expect this year to be any different. It's a slow burn until, the month or so before the event, and then they seem to be a big rush for them and they sell out. So it's Planes to Profit, TOProfit.com. And if you're wanting to come, I would highly suggest you get that booked, and then you should get a confirmation email with the room block on it. Make sure when you're booking, you tell them to put you on the room block. It's the same price whether you book out of the block or on the block. It doesn't matter for you paying. What's going to matter is the breakfast they serve at that hotel is about $17 a plate, and it's included if you're on the room block. It's not included if you're not. So make sure you get on that room block.
And are you on the hook for like a certain number of rooms? So you're obligated, right? So
yep.
It would behoove you to have people
absolutely
to the block.
Yeah, that room block is probably the scariest overhead every year, because until that room block is picked up,
you're footing the bill,
right? So
we're paying for those rooms if they're not filled. So
otherwise, you just get a different room area. We're just if we got to pay for the rooms and nobody's gonna book them, we'll just play musical rooms. Everybody gets to move every night. So if you just want to keep your room, call your friends and tell them to book.
Sounds good. Okay, let's start to wrap this up. I'm just going to do a minute or so for business, upcoming business, and then I'll give you both an opportunity to tell everyone where to find you and whatever else you might happen to be. So basically, as far as meetups that are coming up, obviously the Planes to Profit, March 27th and 28th. ABC Matt is hosting a reseller meetup in Portland, Oregon area called the PNW Meetup, which is May 8th to 9th. And then the reseller rally hosted by John Cincinnati Picker, September 25th and 26th. And keep an eye out in the channel, because next week, Mary and I will be interviewing John, just like we've interviewed Cory and John. And I'm not sure, but I think Pete Craigslist Hunter might be in that interview segment as well.
Why couldn't you get Pete to come on here with us?
Different
I
meetup.
wanted to chat with Pete.
Well, so stay tuned for those. And also, like I said before, take advantage of our Facebook and Instagram pages. It's Mike Metco Meetups Facebook page and Instagram page. And Mary is great. She posts on a daily basis any meetup, large or small, that someone contacts us and asks to be included. And it really is like the information central for all meetups, large and small. So it's if you have any questions, or if you have any suggestions even about a meetup, we always keep our ears open. And we like to kind of like poll the nation at large and see where their interest is, and see what we could possibly do about setting up another another meetup. So like I said, take advantage of that. And I'm not really one to hawk members. There's no memberships on my channel, but subscribers. But I do suggest that you subscribe only because by subscribing you can turn on notifications and be apprised of anything that's coming up. So if you don't want to sub to the channel, that's fine. I don't really care. I'm not looking to monetize my channel. That's not what it's about.
You need an email list, Mike.
Yeah.
You need to tell Mary to get you an email list so you can email us when there's a new event. You've even helped people organize events.
Yeah.
So they'd be events we haven't heard of.
Sure.
It'd be great just to catch an email from you saying, "Hey, there's a new event this year."
Okay, Mary, did you hear that? I know she'll be
Mary,
listening.
jot this down, Mary.
She is the best. I'm sorry that she wasn't able to join us tonight. I hope she's feeling better. All right, so why don't you guys just give us a little, what's going on, what's coming up, whatever you like to say in closing.
I would say my final thought is if you've been to Planes to Profit, you know what to expect, and you know to expect the unexpected. Anything can happen. We might end up at a random hoarder house. You don't know, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited, and I hope everybody else is too.
You don't know who's going to end up on that stripper pole on the bus.
Don't say that. You're going to scare people away.
They're stationary. They don't get too well. The reseller crowd is borderline geriatric. We don't do a lot of athletic stuff on the stripper pole, so you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, I would probably say as far as coming up, we're pushing just over a month before this happens.
Coming up quick.
Yeah. It's coming up really quick, so grab your tickets. If you watch our channel, or if you watch John's channel, or if you watch Mike's channel, and you're watching this right now, and you've ever wanted to hang out, just meet us. This isn't just a casual meet you in public and say hi and then gone. You're going to be spending 3 days with us. I would highly recommend it.
We're going to be best buds by the end of the weekend.
No doubt. That is so true. All right. So thanks so much, guys, for coming on the show and sharing everything about the meetup and for hosting it. I, for one, I'm certainly looking forward to it. And again, if there's any possibility of anyone out there who's on the fence or may want to experience it, jump in the car, jump in the plane. Believe me, you will not be sorry for making that decision. They're really a great time.
Plus, it's a tax write-off anyway.
That's right.
It is. He's right.
Yeah, no doubt. So you might as well spend your money in a productive way and be able to deduct it on your taxes. So, all right, that's about it. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you coming by. We're looking forward to seeing you on March 27th and 28th in Omaha.
See you later.
Guys. Take care.